Good evening. Students, near or far, actually to say you, a virtual student. It's evening, few minutes before, there was Holy Azan and we said our prayers of Maghrib. After then, a calm and quiet atmosphere prevailing. Trees are very calm, mind will is flowing, and entire greenery. Though you can't see now, beautiful flowers are there, orchids. This is the nice, ecological atmosphere. Highly balanced ecology of Mohammadpur Central University College. Even we are trying our level best to minimize the temperature in the Mohammadpur zone is above 5 to 6 degrees Celsius. Accordingly, we are developing roof garden. We are trying. Already started to calm down the temperature. In the same way, through my lecture, I am also requesting all other building owners to develop roof garden for better ecological atmosphere and balance. Anyway, we are virtually taking classes because no alternate now, at this moment. Pandemic situation prevailing throughout the world. And we think it may increase during this rainy season, during this winter season. Somehow, we need to be mentally prepared and keep ourselves safe and have to take immune developing food reflection, regular exercise. Okay? Now, we are to discuss financing in the small enterprises. The small enterprises are small in size, but the size of a small enterprise of Bangladesh and US is not same. In the US economy, the size of a small scale enterprise is 10 times bigger than that of Bangladesh. Anyway, whatever the size of the business, industry or the enterprise, there is a question of financing. It's just a lifeblood of human body. We are starting a business venture with or without capital. Without capital, is it possible? No. But since the inception of that, the very primary job, from the very beginning of the naming of the farm, trade license of the farm, registration of the farm, initial expenditure concerned to land building or rent, initial recruitment of the workers and employees of the organization. All these things, all these purposes, what do you need? We need finance. No finance, no business. Plain and simple. No finance, no business. So what to do? Now we have to think first, go through, what is finance? It's just like the well in the wheel. Marrow of bones and the speed of trade, commerce and industry. Without well will come bones, marrow. No marrow, useless bones. Just simply dried and broken. But the same way the trade, commerce and industry, what needs, that is the finance. In the financial decision making of John Hampton says, the term finance can be defined as the management of the flows of money through an organization, whether it be a corporation, school, bank, or government agency. And Dr. H. Baker's introduction to business, he says business finance is concerned with the sources of funds available to the enterprise of all sizes and proper use of money or the credit of trade from such sources. Very prominent K.W. Walker. Activities of business concerned relevant to financial planning, coordination, control, and their applications is called financing. Without financing planning is coordination, relevant works and activities. No business status to declare. Financial skill efficiency concerned to the financial affairs. Procurement, collection, developing fund, all these things, if not skillfully performed, then the business can run smoothly and onward. Anyway, in terms of the business finance, as per the B.O. Wheeler, he says, business finance is that business activity. It is also business activity. To procure finance is also business activity, which is concerned with the acquisition and conservation of capital funds. Acquisition and conservation of capital, bringing and keeping it with the fund. In meeting the financial need and overall objective of business enterprise. So if we want to attain the goals and objectives of the organization, business organization, then positively we need finance. Since the inception of the business, we're starting from very starting point, from the trade license, for naming of the business organization. Actually we need money. Without money we can't start our business. And then there is the further question of acquisition of land, building, initial manpower, initial energy, automation, equipments, raw materials, procurement of raw materials. Also, after manufacturing the initial pilot run product, they need to sell out in the market. Then there is also question of marketing, and for marketing purpose, there is also question of fund. So no fund, no business. No fund, no business. It's not a aesthetic poetry. Poetry is we do use in business. But when we write aesthetic poetry, then we need not money. Okay? Then, so accordingly we will have to chalk out a plan. Without plan, financial plan, in the right way, in the right track, we can't possibly manage our business activities smoothly and ongoing manner. And here I have to mention about Martin and Scott in his financial analysis book. Financial planning encompasses the firm's efforts to forecast the firm's future financial needs, pre-arrange the details of any financial contracts that may be required to meet those needs. Very much concerned to correct it. That's again the matter is we are telling about the proposed activities concerned connected to the business. And as per each proposed and concerned activities, there we need money. And how much and how far and what should be the amount and size of the capital, what we need, that should be mentioned in the financial planning. Then we now like to discuss about the importance of financial plan of a small business. Number one, to determine the need of money. Yeah, first we need to confirm what is the actual amount we need to start a business and to continue the business. So, whether it may be 10 lakh taka, 10 crore taka, 20 crore taka, 25 crore taka, all these things as per, from understanding and knowing all the expenditures and all the factors, all the components of the business, confirming that thing. Then, to determine required funds, yes. For each and every issue, for acquisition of the land and building, a specific amount of money is needed. For procurement of raw materials, a specific amount of money is needed. For acquisition of the, automation, installation, a certain amount of money is needed. For the power energy, we need a certain amount of money. At the same time, for the training programs, for launching, for the development of the workers and employees of the organization, we need a certain amount of money. Okay. And then to determine the source of fund. And then we'll have to find out the sources. Multiple sources are there. Yes, obviously, it's cost-oriented. At that point, our skill, efficiency, and knowledge in this concerned line will be less effective for us. We can procure, we can collect money from our own fund, our savings, or selling out my personal property, or taking loan from my near and dear ones, or the sources otherwise, that is for the banks and financial institutions can provide loan facilities. At the same time, nowadays a thing is going on that is for basically for the giant business organizations, for the FDI. Direct foreign investment it's not for the small organizations basically, it's for the large organizations. Then to determine the payment time, yes, we are procuring loan, we are acquiring fund, but we need to understand payment schedule. With the starting a few months after we are paying back money, is not possible. At least a certain period of time, say for after 1 year, or starting the project, after starting the project 6 months or 1 year after, then it will be possible from our side to pay back money. So this should be confirmed. And if I am taking loan from a certain organization, but they're all the time pressuring, yes, for the payment of the installment, then the business will be quite tough to run. It's smooth and ongoing. Some other, these are the, I mentioned the sources, and use of applications of capital in the small business. I just mentioned the thing is this again, I am telling is that is procurement, land, purchasing land and development of land. Yes, simply to purchase the land is not enough and we need to develop that. Reorganize that land for the usable purpose. At the same time, construction of factory and office building. We should have a sufficient fund, arrangement of sufficient fund for the construction of land and office building, where we will start our official jobs and the factory building, the purchase of machineries. And now, we can't think without automation, without machineries and equipment, we can't start our business, our mills and factories. Not only that, if it's a service-oriented business organization, an office is concerned with that, positively, we need a huge virtual automation. Nowadays, communication system has been largely depending not only face-to-face, yes, face-to-face obviously done, there is a how, that is virtually. By developing conferencing system, the person is staying in Germany, another one in New York, another one in Australia, now I have in Bangladesh, or some of them are maybe in India, Delhi. But with the developing conference, teleconferencing, we can contact and can talk with all other guys, rest of the guys, yeah. Just even the Zoom is possible. So for this purpose, what we need money. More sophistication, more authentic information, and more better continuation and connection development is possible. At the same time, investment in invisible asset. Oh no, not before that. Purchase of the office equipment and furniture fixtures and office equipment we need to purchase. Here, a huge amount of office decoration is also questioned. Customers, clients, or any other parties are coming to the office and they're saying, yes, office is very fine and decorative. All the equipments are here available. Very nice, westernized. Then they will be inclined and interested to that business. Then they will think these guys are sophisticated, their mentality is fine. At the same time, they are solvent enough. Then, to meet the preliminary expenses, I told it earlier, say for the naming, trade license, paperwork, and for the initial some other expenditures, export-import license, ERC, IRC, and paperwork, and print, and some expenditures concerned, and some preparations concerned to print, media. Then, and use of working capital. Use of working capital, say for the procurement of the raw materials. Raw materials sometimes are not available with a very concerned location. If okay, then fine. If not so, then these have to be procured from the different other sources, say from the India or from, I just mentioned the thing for the soap. Tallow is needed. Tallow is available in South Africa and India, also in Pakistan. So I'll have to select and I'll have to justify the cost and cost of acquiring that raw materials, shipment cost, transportation cost, all these things, FOB, CNF, all these things I need to measure. And accordingly I will have to procure raw materials from the different sources and then storing product, preservation. Yes, I am manufacturing certain goods. That should be in the right way preserved. That should be right way stored. If not so, then that will be lost. And there will be huge wastage and damage. Then payment of wages and salaries. As I am running the mills factories and or the MBA office, positively I will have to pay regularly workers and employees, wages, salaries, and other financial allowances. So there should have a certain amount of fund. So when we are starting a firm, then we should have to keep it in our mind. If it's a manufacturing unit oriented, then positively we need to keep at least 3 months salary and wages fund. If it's service oriented, then we need to keep at least 6 months. Like this way, we'll have to think a sufficient fund arrangement we need to maintain so that the workers and employees will be able to get their salary and wages in the right time. As a whole, they will be satisfied in the highest level. Then there is the question of huge payment of utility bills. Now, power and energy bill is very high. At the same time, supply of water and drainage systems, sewerage systems, all these things, and the automation and maintenance system, positively, we need to maintain a huge amount of money. For that purpose, sufficient fund is to be developed. Then, there is also current bill, gas bill, water bill, municipality tax, these things, and all the renewal fees of the documents, say for the trade license, say for the export-import license, fire license, these things we need to pay regularly. Then the entertainment, yes, as the business is running, as we are running the business, then we need to maintain entertainment expenditure. Workers and staffs are staying in the office, in the factory and in the office. At the lunch or during lunch hour, the company need to maintain expenditure for this purpose. And also, some guests may come from outside, or some other parties may come from outside, or some important government, non-government officials may come for visit. Yes, also buyers may come for visit. In that case, if buyers are coming, then they will have to then the organization have to keep them in the posh restaurants, say for the 5-star restaurant like the Pan Pacific or Radisson, etc., etc. Then carry out day-to-day work. Yes, we need to maintain a huge amount of money as expenditure because why have to mitigate our daily workload? We'll have to complete our daily scheduled jobs. For that purpose, a certain amount of money is needed. So funding is their most important thing. Then Equity. Equity is the most important thing for the business organization. If sufficient backup of equity, it supports the organization to ride it smoothly and ongoing manner. Some characteristics of equity. Supplied by the shareholder. Generally, this equity fund is provided and supplied by the shareholders of the business organization. Then income and retained earning, yes. Income and retained earning is a strong source. If regular income is there and retained earning is there, the fund will be strengthened. Then rights, rights, equity, upon the equity capital, the shareholders have every right. Then, increase or decrease by profit or loss. This equity may increase or decrease by profit or loss. If profit is higher, then the equity may increase. If profit decline, then equity may loss. Then at the same time, less cost of capital. Cost of capital is the most important thing. When we are running our mills, factories, or business organization, then we will have to think. So many sources are there for funding. So many sources are there for taking loans or advances. But there is a question of cost. If the rate of interest and service charges is very higher, then the matter will be quite tough on the side of the factory or the business organization to continue its business operations very smoothly and profit oriented. If we want to increase our profit volume, then positively what we need? We need to minimize cost of acquiring capital. Okay, that is the most important thing. And advantages of equity capital. Some advantages, just I mentioned in the points, there is less cost of capital. If capital available, then less cost of capital, procurement of less cost of, we need not to pay for the equity capital. We need not to maintain any expenditure for the equity capital. So it's paid fine. Then less is very risk-free. Then no fixed charges are there. Then it's not non-refundable. Positively, while owners providing equity fund. So it's a case for the owners. It's for the owners. It's not refundable. If I'm taking bank loan, then I should have to refund it. Then reserve fund, it is strengthens reserve fund. And some problems are there, disadvantages of equity capital. That is the absence of leverage. Yes, absence of leverage is there. Excess idle money. Sometimes it's problem that if the equity fund is excessive, then there is a chance of misuse of that fund. Less average rate of return. As per my sufficient equity, I am not earning that much because for the lavish money I am not that much interested to use because for the better sustaining of my business organization, yes, to fight. No need because I have sufficient backup of equity and reserve fund. Then shift of control to others. Sometimes it's become problematic. It's not an authentic thing. Nowadays business management has been developed with all skill and efficiency. So when we are having a sound amount of equity fund, then we can expand our business. So some traditional points are there for your final exam appearing is needed, but not actually and conceptually that much rich. And deprived from tax benefits. This is also a sick point. Then what to say? Anyway, already I'm just mentioning advantages of debt capital. Debt capital is the lowest cost of capital. And number one point, the increase of earnings per share. And no chance of losing control of our company. Then control of ideal money. Then indirect advantages of taking loan. And disadvantages of debt capital. Points I'm mentioning. Compulsory charge. Some compulsory charges are there. Then insufficient fund. Then to pay high rate of interest. It's a very much problematic from the side of Bangladesh basically because our rate of interest here is very much high. Still not below single digit, below double digit. we are touching. But the government is telling all the time and trying. The bankers associations are not responding accordingly. Though fixed rate of interest has been now turned into 6%, but still I myself got loan above 10% plus. Then impose of negative conditions. Some negative conditions are there. Multivariate the legal terms are there also. And reduce of net profit. If loan taking is higher, then the net profit will be decreased. Then to increase risk, yes, obviously if I am based upon the loan, then my organization will be in the risky situation all the times. Anyway, all these things are very sensitive in nature. Basically, in the most of the countries of the world, I'm not mentioning my own country's name, just I'm telling for the other country's name. Because there is a huge case of politicizing and musclemanship or the ownership of the banks and financial institutions. The people are getting very easily loan and financial support with a lower rate of interest and minimizing charges. So anyway, even then under all this positive and negative side, we'll have to proceed, and without finance, without fund, without equity, we can't start a venture, whatever the size, very smallest or very biggest, no problem. Everywhere we need money. We need capital. We need finance. Okay, the students, very nice situation is now prevailing. Very calm atmosphere. Mind really is growing in this pandemic situation. Even then, we are conducting our academic program, delivering our lecture. Though maybe you are staying very near, or maybe you are in Chittagong, or in Dinajpur, or in Khulna, or in Barisal, or in Kumilla, whatever your location. Just keep yourself aside, take regular exercise and immune developing food, drinks, and all the times keep your mental freshness. Listen nice songs. Thank you very much. Good luck.